Emperor Yu of the Tang Dynasty. Me and Mei Niang, two sages in the same dynasty. Introduction. In the Shenlong Coup, Pei Wu stole the fruits of Li Tang, and Empress Wu Zetian designated her to inherit the throne and ascend to the throne, reproducing the two sages in the same dynasty. I, the heir of the great general, have been entrusted with the mandate of the heavenly family, but I aspire to correct the outline and lift 10,000 eyes. The sea is clear and the four barbarians are flat, and I spare no effort to promote the Tang style of our great Zhou dynasty for generations. At the beginning, I fell into a rebellion case, broke through the situation and led me to fly. In prison, I wrote down the great story. Chapter 1. The Whistleblower Case. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 2. Catastrophe Approaches. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 3. Regenerative Changes. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 4. Eggless Dogs. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 5. Game Theory. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Tian Shi stared in surprise and looked at Li Yuanqin, who was holding the dagger tightly in disbelief. A cruel smile appeared at the corner of her mouth and she said, "Eggless dog, kill me. You deserve it too. You don't even know how to use a knife. If I come to teach you, I'll have to stab you in the neck. Damn it. Little bastard." Tian Shi roared angrily. Li Yuanqin stared blankly at the gushing blood on the ground, then froze for a moment. Tian Shi's folding iron sword was about to strike down. With a loud bang, two people rushed in from outside the room amidst the lightning and sparks. Without any hesitation, at the moment when Tian Shi was lost in thought, Li Yuanhong and Pei Wu rushed forward and knocked Tian Shi down to the ground. The folding iron sword also slipped out of his hand. Tian Shi had a tiger's back and a bear's waist, and after falling to the ground, she forcefully flipped over, gripping their necks with both arms, one left and one right. Ha ha ha, spit. Eggless dog, even ambushed people. Tian Shi grinned grimly. Pei Wu struggled while shouting, "Li Yuanqin, help. He dares." Tian Shi let out a loud shout, only to wake up Li Yuanqin. He stared blankly and pounced with empty eyes, riding on Tian Shi's body and shouting, "You're the eggless dog. If you don't want me to live, I'll stab you. Quan Chao doesn't want me to live, I'll stab him. This world doesn't want me to live, I'll stab this world. Come on, come on." With a few consecutive caresses, Tian Shi couldn't beg for mercy in time. Her mouth was covered in blood, and her hands were powerless to let go. Li Yuanqin's eyes turned red and he said word by word like a demon, "Tian Shi, you're right. As expected, the knife should be stabbed in the neck." Then he stood up and giggled, as if frozen in place. Pei Wu struggled to get up from the ground, his arms and neck burning with pain. All the dead and alive in the room were soaked in blood, panting and shouting, "Find water, wake him up. He won't be able to hold on for long before he faints." Li Yuanhong swallowed her saliva and carried a bucket of water from Li Yuanqin's kitchen, splashing onto his face. In an instant, as if awakened from a nightmare, Li Yuanqin seemed to recall what he had done, covering his face and crying. "I'm useless, I'm not human. I've harmed my grandfather and my family. Niang, heir. Brother." Li Yuanhong wanted to say something, but couldn't speak. Pei Wu grabbed Li Yuanqin's collar and shouted, "What's the use of crying? Do you hear the drums? It's already been a while. If you want to save someone, pick yourself up. Maybe there's still a chance." Li Yuanqin pushed away with great force and said, "Do ants like us still have a chance? I caused my grandfather to be imprisoned, and the whistleblowing letter has been presented to the sage. The Li mansion is going to be destroyed in my hands. Isn't this what you expected? You hate Li mansion, hate grandpa. Li Yuanhong said coldly on the side. What do you know? If it weren't for Tianxi threatening me with the lives of Yin Niang and Yin heir, Erlang, how could I harm grandpa and the crown prince? They had set up a situation a few years ago, and grandpa was transferred back to the capital. It wasn't a Holy Family member, but a council that facilitated it, in order to use grandpa as a member of the crown prince's faction to bite the Eastern Palace. Li Yuanhong became even more angry and said, why don't you tell grandpa? What's the point of speaking now? Grandpa's temper is too straightforward. He knew that he would cause a big trouble in the magistrate's office, which would lead to retaliation from these cruel officials. People in Chang'an know that I am at odds with grandpa, it's fake. That was my intentional estrangement to protect grandpa. I thought I could die for grandpa and eliminate this disaster, but I never thought I was right and fell into all Chao's schemes, causing a big disaster. Li Yuanqin cried and groaned in pain on the ground. Pei Wu shook his head. He had been accustomed to deceit in his past life, and there were many who jumped off buildings, rivers, and drank medicine in the end. Li Yuanqin's strength was too weak, and no matter how much an ant played tricks, the elephant kicked and died silently. Pei Wu endured the nauseating smell of blood and looked at the two brothers in front of him, saying, the three connections are bulging. If you want to save someone, hurry up. Erlang and I will go find Uncle Wang and find a way to save Uncle. Li Dalong, go to Yujifang and find the location of your sister. In law and Ener. Don't act rashly. Wait until we arrive and find a way to rescue them. Li Yuanqin's eyes were very small and he said silently for a moment, one day, I won't die. I will stab these people to death. The three of them didn't have time to cover up Tianxi's body, wiped away the blood, changed into clean clothes, and continued to run wildly on Yongtong Street. The Council. Quan Chao is observing on the commendation wall, which has recorded significant honors of the judicial yuan since its establishment, without exception, all of which are major cases of rebellion. The parties involved are the Li Tang royal family, nobles and nobles, nobles and nobles, as well as a few princes. In the early years, every time he came here, he felt high and satisfied. Now that he is old, he suddenly feels a bit scared. The loyal old officials of the Tang Dynasty were completely captured by them, and their hands were stained with the blood of the descendants of Emperor Taizong. You still have a soft heart. If you want to do it, you have to do it absolutely. Otherwise, if Li Tang takes the throne, these cruel officials will not be able to escape punishment. Ho Siji flattered from behind and said, the attendant is dedicated and responsible for national affairs, no wonder the sage values him. Quan Chao turned around and glanced at him with a contemptuous expression. Ho Siji had the nickname, Dwarf, which he agreed with, but he didn't like in his heart. Tianxi hasn't returned yet. The evening drum has already sounded. Tianxi has always been steady and won't cause any trouble. I believe she is on her way back. Seeing Quan Chao frown, Ho Siji said again, Li Yuanqin is beyond his means. He has some calculations in his heart. Poor thing. He has entered the game and doesn't want to implicate Li Zhaoda. It's just a fantasy. He is a 9th-rank official who instigates rebellion in the Eastern Palace. How could a saint believe it? Only an old minister like Li Zhaoda, who is highly respected, has the hearts of the people, and has official voices, can incite rebellion by the crown prince, which is reasonable. Quan Chao sighed and said, alas, now these old officials, kill one less. Dong dong. The 5th evening drum sounded, and both of them listened attentively. Quan Chao suddenly said, Tianxi hasn't returned yet. I think something happened. Then he asked again, is there any movement in the Eastern Palace? Ho Siji was somewhat surprised and shook his head, saying, no, just like usual, there was no abnormality found. I think the crown prince is still in the dark. Quan Chao grabbed his raised beard and became serious for a while before scolding, waste. We've all been deceived. Take the token from the magistrate's office and go to Yujifang to investigate. Ho Siji buried his head lower, becoming more and more like a dwarf. His mind was spinning, and he didn't immediately take orders. Instead, he responded against the dissatisfaction of all Chao, but Li Yuanqin's wife and daughter are still in our hands. He doesn't have that much courage. Quan Chao's face suddenly turned cold and he said, "Stupid dog. The Eastern Palace has taken action. If the Crown Prince allows Li Yuanqin to retract his confession, he can beat us upside down. If the story in front of the sage doesn't work out, we will both die. Anyway, let Li Yuanqin die tonight. Let's hurry to Yujifang. If he escapes, he will definitely go to Shifeng courtyard to save people. As soon as the person arrives, send his whole family on the road." Ho Siji licked his lips and said, "Don't worry, the attendant. I will divide my troops into 2 paths and I will make this kid keep silent forever." He rolled his eyes, deliberately not mentioning Li Yuanqin's wife and daughter. Chapter 6. Seeking Help. You are listening at novelfull.audio. De Co Lois Ara Trong Quatrin Lay Text. Chapter 7. Official Transport. You are listening at novelfull.audio. De Co Lois Ara Trong Quatrin Lay Text. Chapter 8. Ducks. You are listening at novelfull.audio. De Co Lois Ara Trong Quatrin Lay Text. Chapter 9. Sales Grottoes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. De Co Lois Ara Trong Quatrin Lay Text. Chapter 10. Yujifang. You are listening at novelfull.audio. De Co Lois Ara Trong Quatrin Lay Text.